wanted to start out with those remarks. I want to thank our Zoomers that are here. I hope, can you hear us okay? Very good. Very good. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to honor the service of a public servant. Thank you to Nicole and all the other administrative staff who helped set up the refreshments and everything that we needed for today's ceremony. Over the last few months, many of my colleagues around the state and even in other states who've retired have not had any sort of reception at all. And I think it's important that we do our best to recognize the service of anyone who has served as long as Captain Fink before they enter into retirement. Before we continue on, I'd like Captain Fink to introduce any family or friends that are here, so we know who's here.
Well, I have my wife Ivy here, and that's all I have today.
I understand we may have some late arrivals, so if we do, he's gonna get my attention, and we'll cover them. So everybody approaches retirement a little bit differently. Some have enjoyed a satisfying career and they have trouble saying goodbye. Some burned out a long time ago and they never look back with any fondness at all about their career. Others are very thankful for the opportunity to serve and the blessings they have enjoyed while serving others not as fortunate as them. And so I'm intentionally looking at you when I say that. What I'm certain about is that most who retire are sad leaving their police family and friends. Because once they do, the relationships often change. It's not that it's a bad thing necessarily, it's just different. We'll talk more about what Richard's going to be doing post-retirement, but I want to make some personal comments before I talk about what the rest of the program will look like. I'm going to miss Richard for many reasons. I've only known him for a couple of years, and those of you who know him well have never for a moment questioned his work ethic, his loyalty, his honesty, his integrity and commitment to family, and all of that with a positive outlook. He may have had some bad moments long before I got here, but I haven't seen him since I've been here. If we instituted an RCPD auto repair shop, I think Rich might reconsider retirement. But he never made that suggestion, so it might be too late. So before we go on, I just want you to know we're going to go ahead and make some presentations now. And then I'm going to invite any of his colleagues who are here to make remarks, including the county attorney, Barry Wilkerson. And then if Rich would like family or friends, anybody else to make remarks, we'll invite them up. And then last but not least, we'll let Rich take the microphone and say whatever he would like to say. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Okay. So the first thing I would like to do, if you'll step around here with me, I'll turn this around, is I didn't see this until today, but if you'll help me hold this up, Captain Fink. This was put together by Lieutenant Asher, Lieutenant Bro, Lieutenant French, and Lieutenant Shuck. So instead of reading this, I'll just hold it up and let everybody take a look at it. I love stuff like this where it's something that is customized and made for the individual. And I think you've got lots of wall space in that shop that this would look great in. So I just wanted to present this to you with an end of watch of 12/31/2020 on behalf of those lieutenants.
Great.
We'll get to the less significant stuff. You always need a coffee cup,
Right.
RCPD coffee cup. It doesn't mean coffee has to be in it when you use it. So I want to make sure you know that. Also, I guess it's a tradition that KCOM presents our retirees with a weather alert radio. So
It used to be a standard, but they don't work anymore.
that's right. That's right. We're working on that, though. Also, in recognition of the military service, we have a U.S. flag that flew today in front of this building that we have inserted in this display case for you. And on behalf of the members of the department and recognition of the military service, I just want to say thank you for your service to our country. I'll talk more about that later. Also, we have the traditional commemorative gun case that you'll put your retirement weapon in, and it reads, Captain Richard Fink. Upon retirement, with sincere thanks and appreciation for more than 27 years of continued and dedicated service to the Riley County Police Department, its members, and the citizens of Manhattan and Riley County. And it has my name, the date of January 1st, 2021. Also, we have your cherished retirement credentials.
Yeah.
There's several things here. I'm going to give this to you. I'm not going to set it back on the table. So this has your retirement badge with the rank of captain. It also has 2 ID cards. One has no expiration date on it, but the other one has that important HR 218 information, and it's good until June of next year, and then we'll have to come and get it renewed. So I'm going to hand that to you. Probably put that in your pocket now. Last but not least, I want to read this plaque to you. I'm going to come over here with you. You're standing too far away. So, traditionally in law enforcement, when someone retires, a nice plaque is made that has all of the badges that they've worn throughout their career. That's what we have displayed here. And also there's a commemorative badge that was minted for the 150th anniversary of the Riley County. No, it's not the Riley County Police Department for 150 years. So is it the county? County. Okay, so it's for the county. So I'm going to read this, and there is so much here on this plaque, and then I'll make some other remarks after this. It was hard to fit all this on there. So Captain Fink began work here August 1st, 1993, and retired January 1st, 2021. And it reads, Captain Richard "Rich" Fink joined the Riley County Police Department on August 1st, 1993, and he became one of those rarities in any organization, the kind of person you wanted to work with, the kind of person you wanted to work for, and the kind of person you wanted to work for you. This quality is probably the result of one word that sums up best the character of Richard Fink: loyalty. I gotta put my glasses on. Captain Fink faithfully served the citizens of Riley County with loyalty and professionalism for over 27 years. Captain Fink's diligence and dedication to duty followed him throughout his career as he progressed through the department, carrying the rank of sergeant. In August 2001, notable assignments included North County and Special Investigations Unit Supervisor, Lieutenant in December 2007, and Captain in December of 2011. Captain Fink has served as a commander of each division within the Riley County Police Department, with the exception of the jail division. Captain Fink was loyal to both his department and his people. He was heavily involved in field operations, working alongside his fellow detectives and law enforcement officers. He was twice named as the RCPD Supervisor of the Year, which was extremely uncommon. He volunteered wherever assistance was needed and worked tenaciously toward furthering the department's mission. In addition to serving on the department's emergency response unit dive team, Captain Fink served as ERU tactical team leader and was involved in numerous high-risk operations, including hostage rescue, barricaded suspects, high-risk warrant service, and suspect apprehension. During his career, he was appointed as a special investigator by the state of Kansas and served as part of the High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Task Force. Captain Fink has also been credited with establishing the department's domestic violence repeat offender program with the goal of reducing criminal recidivism. And Captain Fink was loyal to his country, having served the United States in the cause of freedom in Operation Desert Storm, and later as an advocate in the department's recognition of all veterans, especially prisoners of war and those missing in action. It is impossible to sum up the career of Captain Richard Fink in the space of a few paragraphs, but in the simplest of terms, he was an outstanding police officer, detective, supervisor, mentor, man of family and faith, and a dear friend. The men and women of the Riley County Police Department offer congratulations and sincere gratitude on behalf of the citizens of Manhattan and Riley County to Captain Fink his retirement. His unwavering dedication and strong leadership in uniform have been critical to safeguarding the citizens of our community. His commitment to duty and loyalty with which he has served is part of the outstanding legacy of the Riley County Police Department, which continues to inspire future generations of law enforcement officers. And I have a tradition when I present these of adding a quote that I think is relevant to the person receiving the plaque. And I've added a quote from a Kansas son who served as one of our generals in World War II and the 34th President of the United States, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. And it reads, "Leadership consists of nothing but taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong and giving your subordinates credit for everything that goes well." I'm presenting this on behalf of myself and the Assistant Director and the members of the Riley County Police Department. Congratulations for your service to our community. So I'd like to take this moment to invite anyone up here from the audience who would like to make some comments or remarks about Captain Fink. I know there's lots to say, so don't be shy.
Well, it's been a great 28 years, Rich. You know, we had a conversation this summer, and I tried to talk you out of this moment, but I wasn't able to do it. So I'm sorry for everybody, including this community and myself. But it's a well-deserved retirement. It's a dedicated career, and I've really enjoyed working with you for the last 28 years. My first contact with Captain Fink was when he was Officer Fink working in Aggieville, and a drunk tried to run him over while he was trying to bar closing time protect citizens. And that was my first contact with Rich, and I don't think he'd been on the department all that long, but it's been a great ride. Drug cases, a lot of nights you and I were together, either out in the field or down at the PD. Your work was exceptional, your dedication was exceptional, and you embody everything that is good about law enforcement. You're not only a good law enforcement officer, sergeant, lieutenant, and captain, above all, you're just a great person, and Rich, I'm going to miss you. And you've been a great friend. Thank you.
You know, when we started and I recognized County Attorney Barry Wilkerson, I neglected to also mention that retired Director Brad Schoen is here, and I know he wants to make some remarks as well, so I'll invite him up.
I've known Rich quite a while, and you know, did a lot of time with Rich where he was in the position of being a commander and I was the director. And you know, Dennis alluded to it, the plaque alluded to it. Rich was a people guy, and so when we'd be having conversations, I remember this quite distinctly. We'd go to like quarterly planning advances. We didn't want to call them retreats. And we'd be discussing this policy or that promotion or this relationship with the community or what to do about this or that problem. And one of the things that Rich always did was he kind of stuck up for the line guys. He was there and he said, okay, how this is going to affect them, what's this going to do, we need to think about morale, we need to think about these things. And I always liked that about Rich. And I don't know if well, I know some of you know this, but probably not most of you. During my time as a director, one of the things I wanted to do with commander slots is put people in those slots who had widely varying views. Because I kind of think, and still do believe, that one of the worst things an organization can suffer from is groupthink. And I knew Rich's predilections, and here he is as a captain doing the same thing, and so I wasn't surprised by this. But unfortunately for Rich, it meant that a lot of times, the more esoteric components of an argument or the non-people side of it got a lot of focus, and Rich lost a lot of arguments over the years. So, yeah, I figure he's still bitter about it. Yeah. So, not from him. Oh, okay. So one of the things I want to let you know, Rich, is now that you're retired and it's just you and I, you'll be winning all the arguments. So, anyway, I really do hope you enjoy your retirement. I mean, I got to tell you, for those of you who are a long ways off, I'm sorry to tell you, it really is great, but you'll like it when you get there. Just be patient. Your time will come. For those of you who are closer than not, I would say this: make some plans about what you want to do with your life afterwards, and then go do it, because it's a great opportunity. Rich, you got a great opportunity in front of you right here. I know you kind of already lined out what your plan is, and God bless you and kudos for doing that. Everybody should be so far-sighted. So I know I'm glad to have worked with him. I'm glad he was around. He was good for the organization, and I think, that among you guys, when you're looking around the room at each other, you need to be asking yourself, who's going to fill that role? And if the answer isn't me, then you're probably not quite considering the question well enough, because everybody needs to look out for the line guy, whether it's the person you run into on the street who's just Joe Citizen average guy, whether it's the officers who work here, the corrections officers, the staff. It takes a family to make this thing run. And you did well when I was here, so I'm pleased to be back and pleased to honor Rich and make a few comments on his behalf. Sorry, I'll be needing that.
Since you mentioned losing arguments, I do have a tip. You said he's going to win all the arguments in retirement. If it's about car repairs, then that's a good approach to take, because I think you will lose. Now, I know some of his lieutenants and former lieutenants are here. Anybody want to come up and talk about their old boss? It's safe to do it now, if you'd like to.
No, we still working.
Captain Haggerty.
When I was first promoted captain, I needed a lieutenant, and Richie was the one and only person that I thought of. And I hope he doesn't regret that. I certainly don't. This job is much easier when you have people like Rich and many of you out there that really do the work. We tend to answer some emails, sometimes get you resources, but when it comes to rolling up the sleeves and doing the job of policing, it's people like Rich Fink, and he continued to do that as a captain. So, and he was also one that when the fight was over with, the fight was over with. He didn't take it home with him. It didn't last overnight. It was done, and I really appreciated that about him, and we got to put that into practice a lot, particularly with John Doling, who I wish was here so he could talk about all the arguments he lost. That wouldn't be the way he would put it, but congratulations, Rich. Only hope the best for you.
Anybody else like to come up?
Is this thing zoomed to the public?
No. Is it? No. No, I didn't think so. Oh.
I'll just talk to you because we were just talking to them. Some of the things that come to mind when I think about your leadership is you often push the decision-making ability down, I think, to your lieutenants and your sergeants and even us detectives. I think that helped us grow quite a bit in our careers. You let us take on certain projects that I think also helped us grow, and when they didn't always work out, you usually gave us top cover with executive management on some of that. You've always been approachable. Officers always talk to each other, and nobody I know has ever said, like, oh, I got to go talk to the captain or anything like that. It was never a concern, even if it was for a disciplinary type issue. And most importantly, you've always thrown great holiday parties, and that was always appreciated too. So I appreciate you. Sorry you're leaving, and your leadership will certainly be missed. So.
All right. Just form a line right here.
I've worked for Captain Fink throughout the years in a multitude of positions. He's always been a great leader, good mentor. Some of the funny things, I'll probably leave those, but one thing I really enjoyed about Rich was he was approachable. He would tell you, you know, hey, come on in and see me. Some great advice he gave me was, when you're promoted, you give up the right to not have people come and meet with you. And a lot of times in law enforcement, I hear this, well, he was a cop's cop, he was a cop's cop. And you truly were a cop's cop. I can remember him being a captain and you're working at a scene, search and stuff, and I look to my right and there's Rich digging around stuff, and I look at detectives and they're just kind of standing there. I'm like, the captain's working, we need to, I mean, inspired a lot in my career. I mean, super mentor, and you'll be really missed, and I'll be coming out and visiting a lot at your shop. Thank you.
Anyone else? Ivy, do you want to come up and say anything? So before I turn this over to Rich, I'm just going to put an exclamation point on some of the things that have been said already by some comments that were in his last two performance evaluations. Is that okay if I disclose personnel information? Okay.
Keep away from the unsatisfied.
So in 2019, under loyalty, this was what was in his evaluation. As I have stated before, this is one of Rich's greatest strengths. He is devoted to the mission of the department and demonstrates this on a daily basis by his immediate attention to the many questions and requests that come in via the department's Contact Us option on our website. He immediately responds to these questions, comments, or critiques in a thoughtful, compassionate, yet direct and honest manner. Several responses he has provided come to mind, but one that specifically stands out as I type this is a concern expressed by a citizen regarding unsafe turns being made at Marlatt off of Tuttle Creek Boulevard. Rich provided a thoughtful response, went to the scene to observe the issues raised, and then made suggestions to the city that resulted in the intersection being repainted, making a safer intersection. The simple answer would have been to let the citizen know we would monitor the intersection and cite violators. But that would not have solved the real problem, which was a design issue. He also demonstrates his commitment to his employees by his daily interactions with them and the support he gives them to do their job. Again, many examples can be given, but one stands out in his addition of a play in the playbook for warrants. Very simply put, the effort he demonstrated in researching and making the playbook edition helped the CP section as well as officers who regularly look for subjects on warrants. Finally, Rich's commitment to starting the Crisis Intervention Team Council and getting all officers CIT certified demonstrates his loyalty to the citizens of our community and the ever-increasing mental health issue they are experiencing. Before I go on to this most recent evaluation, I just want to make one comment about what I read there. And this is a personal experience, and it happened more than once. Sometimes when these concerns would be raised, it wasn't always through the website. Sometimes they would come directly to me. And when I gave the issue to Captain Fink to look into, without exception, it was always a prompt reply with way more than I could have expected to answer the question and address issues to solve the problem. It just blew me away. I mean, I've seen it before, but you don't see it all the time. And I was so thankful that I could trust him to just hand it to him and go about my other duties, which are many, and not worry about when it was going to get done or how it was going to get done. That's rare in my experience for someone at any level of supervision. It's a real model, and I hope that that the lieutenants and others who've worked for him over the years were paying attention, because you learn from one of the best, in my opinion, and it didn't take me long to figure that out, and as you know, I haven't been here that long. So in this last evaluation, again under the category of loyalty, it reads, in the last two evaluations, I've been privileged to give Rich, I have stated that loyalty is one of his greatest strengths. As noted above, his career at RCPD demonstrates this. He is loyal to his friends and will sacrifice for them. You know who you are. He is loyal to the RCPD and has made many sacrifices of his long career for the department. This has been demonstrated in many hours that he spent working in the Narcotics and Investigations Division, coming in at all hours of the day and night. Rich is also loyal to the community and his co-workers. This was most recently demonstrated in the officer-involved shooting on Freeman Road. Rich stayed after all officers were released so he could provide security for the suspect's father and the military personnel that were there trying to help. In the end, it was his decision to stay when he could have left, that put the department in a position to save the life of the suspect's father. Rich was also nominated for the Core Value Award for Loyalty, with the following comment being made. And that I neglected to add in here. But I also wanted to add the note, which you already know. Captain Fink is also a veteran, having served in Desert Storm. He's always been a champion of U.S. veterans, and he was instrumental in bringing the POW MIA flag to the RCPD's flagpole. Before I close, Rich, I want to give you a chance to come up here and say whatever you'd like to say about your career.